loving this recipe book, this cookbook by Salmin Nostrat. I know she has a show, so you guys probably know better than I do how to actually pronounce her name. She worked at Alice Waters restaurant in San Francisco, which is a super cool local food restaurant, very fine dining. It also supports her farmer school work that she was sort of one of the pioneers in that area. But she really breaks down how to really cook without a recipe here. Right on the back it says, learn to cook delicious meals with any ingredient, anywhere, at any time, even without a recipe. She also has a show which I have not checked out yet on Netflix. And she's just a lot of fun to read. She has a really fun writing style and a way to break things down so that it's super understandable and memorable. So I just wanted to give a little shout out. Plus there's charts in here that, really help you understand what braising and boiling and all the different things you can do to meat. There's one about different flavors and how they interact with each other and how to put them together. It really helps you understand in a fun way, how to do a lot of those things. So think about that if you're looking for some inspiration as well, or just want to get to know cooking better. So we have a few things going on here with our zucchini. To get started with the zucchini. First, I wanted to cover zoodling. If you haven't heard about zoodling, it's super fun way to use zucchini, and you can use a lot of it. Zoodling is zucchini noodles. There's several different kinds of things you can use to actually zoodle. This is my favorite one. It has little suction cups down here that stick to the nice stainless steel down here. It works best with stainless steel, but it will also stick to your countertop. And then I can show you it here. I have a half a zucchini. We're running a little low on zucchini here right now. But you stick it there. Oh, the fan went off. And you stick it on these scary looking spikes. I don't know if you can see those spikes, but if I was a vegetable, I'd be scared. So you stick this thing down so it doesn't really move. You stick your zucchini in there, stick the spikes on its butt, and you zoodle. See that lovely, long, noodle-like substance? These are nice and square, and they hold sauce really well. And so I use them in spaghetti as a substitute. I'm allergic to gluten in a pretty serious way, and so I use these all the time for making spaghetti. I often like to cut them a few times while I'm zoodling because you can see they're really long. They're like beautiful hair tendrils. And it's super quick. And you know what? My daughter loves to zoodle. She will stop me if I start zoodling and say, Mama, I want to do that. So it's a great way to get your kids involved or grandkids in the kitchen if you've got them around while you're cooking. So there's my lovely zoodles. That was just a half a zucchini. It made a good, handful of noodles. That would be probably enough for a meal. So you can, one zucchini for two people. It uses, you use up zucchini pretty quickly that way. So I'm going to take my lovely zoodles and put them to the side. I'm not going to do anything more with them, but I keep a bag of zoodles in the fridge. If I'm home at lunch or I'm here and I remember to bring them, I can throw them on the stove. You saute them for like 2 minutes. You can also eat them raw and then throw some sauce on top. Pesto is amazing on them. Last night we had the Providence Garden Party, and we had zoodles with just olive oil, garlic, a little basil, fresh basil, salt and pepper. Throw some tomatoes in there, that's also good, but that was all we put on there, and people were raving about it. So, simple ways to put those things together. It tastes a lot actually like a caprese salad. You could throw some mozzarella in there, and it would be amazing. Think about zoodling. You don't have to buy something quite this big. There's one that's a handheld thing that just, it almost looks like a triangular peeler, and you just stick it on the head. Do not make the mistake, though, of cutting your zucchini up. My coworker was telling me the first time she used her zoodler, she cut it in quarters. You should put the whole zucchini in there. There's plenty of room, and you want it to be as big as possible. Like, this is also a great use for those larger zucchinis when you've forgotten them in the garden for a little while. So there's the zoodler. Now we'll move this guy out of the way. See how nice? The suction cups are just fabulous. And you can get one of those. I think there's like 2 sizes. One of them is like $25 and the other one is $40. You might be able to get it cheaper online, I'm not sure. But those are the prices that I checked at the Good Food Store. The Food Store, I think, has 3 different varieties in the nest. So second thing I wanted to cover is zucchini in a saute or a roast on the roasting pan is super versatile. And so I threw, I had some gorgeous chard this week in my CSA box. And I had my first green pepper, which was very exciting. And we, I don't think it's quite made it to CSAs. Maybe a few folks got them, but we got the first fresh garlic here at the farm, so I got to grab a little bit, threw that in there too. So that's exciting that that's on the horizon. So I just threw that in this pan over here, cooked it up with some sausage. So I have those 2 things in bowls. This is just the GFS Good Food Store breakfast sausage, which I'm obsessed with. And it adds so much flavor to any dish that you almost don't need to add any more spices. I put a bunch of, like maybe, not a bunch, but maybe a tablespoon or 2 of summer savory from my CSA in here. You could also throw some basil or any kind of Italian spices to go. And when you're doing a saute, just pick a flavor, pick Mexican. You can, that would go great with those peppers, or Italian, or some flavor profile that you're kind of gonna stick with, and that helps you figure out what else you're gonna put in there. Zucchini is so flexible that it will go with anything. Right now, I have a zucchini right here that I have roasted a little bit in the oven. You can see it's nice and brown, and I am gonna stuff it. So I was gonna put a little bit of sausage in there, and I think a lot of times people will, you can put, you roast it a little bit. You roast it for like 5 or 10 minutes, and this oven, it's a convection oven. It's super fancy, and so you roast it for less, which I just learned. So this one might be a little over roasted. I roasted it for about 10 minutes. So it is pretty much cooked. And so what I'm doing here is I've put, I've put some sausage in there. And then put some sausage. Sausage. And then on top of it, I'm gonna put some of those yummy vegetables that I've just like you can't really fit a whole lot, depending on how big your zucchini is, but throw some of that mixture. You can also mix it together, and then you've got this nice little package deal here. Boom. And then if you like putting some vegan or just regular old Parmesan on the top, if you're going Italian like I am, if you wanted to do more of a Mexican theme, you could put your sausage in there, or I would do ground beef with some taco seasoning as your meat, or tofu would be amazing with some taco seasoning. Put that in there. Put some, whatever you put on your tacos, like green pepper, onion, garlic, all of those things. Saute those in a pan and then throw them in your boat. And then put some cheddar cheese on top if you're going Mexican style. And then once you get it out of the oven, you can dress it with guacamole and salsa and all those fun things. So I would put a little Parmesan on top of this, slip it back in the oven, let it melt a little bit, but not too much so you don't have a limp zucchini. Pull it back out and eat it. So this is my lunch today. I'm not going to bother putting it back in the oven because I overcooked it a little bit already. And so that's, again, summer savory. There's chard in there. I sauteed the stems with the green pepper and the garlic, and then I added the chard at the end. And that sausage is just going to give it so much flavor. I'm actually going to take a little bite right now and see if the flavor is quite right. So, we've got a little bite of sausage. Yeah, it's good. A lot of people put a little bit of seasoning on the top before they roast it. So you could do like double Parmesan, salt and pepper, stick it in the oven, bring it out, put your toppings on, stick back in the oven, and you're done. Oh, this sausage is so good. Okay, so a few other items about zucchini. You can eat it raw, you can also roast it, cook it in lots of different ways. You can also freeze it, which I'll go over in a sec. Let's see, it has a mild flavor. It goes great in baked goods. So you can, I like to call them hidden veggies. You could throw in muffins, breads. You can actually mix it a lot with carrots. Like if you shred some zucchini and shred some carrots, they pretty much do the same thing in recipes. You often want to squeeze the water out before you put them in a baked good. But fun fact, that carrots and zucchini are cooperative or even interchangeable in a recipe. So you can totally substitute carrots if you have more carrots, or zucchini if you have more zucchini, in like carrot bread, or I don't know about carrot cake, but that might be an interesting thing to play with. Another thing, when you have a sheet pan, I think this is going on. Oh, no, it's not. Here. This is my roasting pan, but a lot of times when you're in a rush, you could put some zucchini and sausage and maybe some potatoes or something on a sheet pan all together, and you make a meal, and then it's done. One pan, one meal, easy cleanup. You can even put, as I have not, but put some parchment paper or something in the bottom so that it's easy cleanup. And before I move on from this sausage mixture, I'm going to take this, like clearly this is not going to, I have way more than I need for my zucchini boat. And so later, like maybe tomorrow, since this is breakfast sausage, I might throw this in a scramble for my family, or I can throw it together and roast a little potato, put it on top of the potatoes and make kind of a skillet out of it, or throw it in with some rice and mix that together, and it'll be delicious. Sort of rice dish. You can add some more spices to that. This is just a great base to work from for the rest of the week. Could make a delicious lunch as well, and obviously breakfast if you're going to put it in a scramble. And you could even eat it for breakfast if you're not into eggs. You could put it over potatoes, and that would also be a delicious breakfast. So I'm going to now talk to you a little bit about zucchini dip, which is new to me. And I've never tried this recipe, so you guys are gonna, I'm gonna scoot you over because we don't have a plug over here near the stove that works. So we're doing a little change up of scene. I'm coming over here. Hopefully you can see me with the window in the back. But I haven't done this recipe before, so we're just experimenting together. But I've got my food processor here and all the ingredients for this super easy zucchini dip. The magic thing about zucchini dip is that you can cut up things like carrots or any kind of vegetable dipping mechanism. Peas, snap peas are great. Carrot coins, some cucumber, which are about to come into your CSA baskets, or CSA shares if they haven't already. Cut those up, and you're dipping a vegetable into a vegetable, which is just a great way to use as many vegetables as possible. Okay, so what you have to do, I have all the ingredients here. We've got some roasted zucchini, which I threw in on that same pan with the boat. I love, whenever I'm roasting something, to throw as many things on that in that oven while it's hot, because you're getting it's the middle of summer and you're getting your kitchen hot, so might as well roast a bunch of things and then they're ready for the rest of the week, right? So, while I was at it, I roasted the zucchini boat. I roasted this zucchini for the dip. I also was thinking about throwing that pepper in, because that could be a great thing to throw in anything, any kind of recipe later on in the week, but I decided to use it in the saute instead. In any case, let's see. So we've got the zucchini in there, and then we've got a half a cup of pine nuts. I'm pretty sure that we could substitute something else, but I'm just going to scoot you over a little bit. I did splurge on pine nuts, which I almost never do because they are so expensive. But I really wanted to taste with this recipe. It's a Mark Bittman recipe. If you've never heard of him, he is an amazing cookbook writer and general cook master. He has all sorts of videos online, and he writes books like 101 Ways to Use Vegetables, or he has a vegetarian cookbook that's a lot of people's sort of go-to cookbook who are vegetarian. He's just amazing, and he has, if you just Google Mark Bittman, and I think it's 12 Ways to Use Zucchini, that's where I got this recipe, it's just like a master formula for how to sub in and out for like a pound of zucchini, what you can do with it. Oops. Let's get started. So we've got pine nuts. They want a half a cup of pine nuts, so I'm going to use my cup measure and throw in a half a cup. You know what? I'm going to try a half a cup, so we'll put the rest of them in. A quarter cup of lemon juice, which I have some fresh squeezed lemon juice right here. And here is my quarter cup lemon juice. I'm going to rinse this cup measure out. Okay. Quarter cup lemon juice. Quarter cup, no, let's see. Half a teaspoon of garlic, which I totally forgot about. So we're going to cut the garlic up together. This is fresh garlic, so it's a little stickier than the garlic that you might have that's been cured. And we're going to go over cured versus uncured very soon, because that actually cured means that it has been dry. Like the farmers have put it up in our, at least on River Road, we've put it in a nice, cool, dry place with lots of fans on it, and really gotten a nice thick skin on the outside so that it will last a lot longer. And it's really important to do that and to do it really well, because it makes the veggies last so much longer. Peekaboo. So I've got my garlic. This is about a tablespoon. Sorry, half tablespoon. This actually might be more garlic than we need, but what's wrong with too much garlic? Nothing. Okay, so it's a half teaspoon of garlic. We probably put a full teaspoon. We've got some pepper here, a little bit of pepper, kind of eyeballing it. I think here he does not specify how much pepper. And then we've got some tahini from the bulk section of the Good Food Store. 2 tablespoons of tahini. 1, 2. Tahini is a fantastic. You know, it's seeds. There we go. It's kind of like a nut butter, only with seeds, and it has a great flavor and texture, and it's great for stuff like this. So we're gonna whip it up. out of sesame seeds. I think I just said seeds before. Grab my spatula, and oh, it's looking great. I thought I was gonna have to blend it again, but I don't think so. So yeah, this is what we've got. Now, let's see if I made the mistake of too much garlic, because you can, especially when it's raw, have too much garlic. No, it's good. Just needs a little salt. I'm gonna add some salt. Oh yeah, it's like very lemony. I might blend it a little bit longer, but it's very lemony. And you can taste the zucchini for sure. I'm just gonna mix it together. Do-do-do. And then, oh yeah, this is delicious. You should try this. Yeah, veggie dip for your veggies. This would be really good on sandwiches too, I think. So yeah, I think you could even put more zucchini in it than I did. Mark Bittman says I think a pound for this recipe, so try, that was about a bowl full, so probably 2 cups. The last thing I wanted to mention before I go is that freezing as your last resort, as a little exit strategy, as I like to call them, you can always freeze some zucchini, and you are gonna thank yourself in the middle of winter, or even later on in the season when you don't have any more zucchini. It's such a versatile vegetable. It's not gonna be great when you've frozen it. It's not gonna be great raw, but for soups, for sautés, for zucchini bread or baked goods, it's awesome. So I think ahead to what you like the most to add it to. So like if you want to put it in a soup or a sauté, cube it. If you want to do something that's going to be baked, then I would shred it first and put it in a plastic bag about the size you want. So like if you usually use around 2 cups in a sauté, then put the 2 cups in that bag so that you have serving sizes, because you don't want to defrost an entire gallon size of zucchini. I have done that before. It's a pain, and then you end up wasting zucchini because it doesn't, the refreezing process isn't great either. Zucchini is a large percentage of it is water, and so that's part of why when you freeze and unfreeze, it's not going to work well raw. Like freezing zucchini noodles probably isn't a good idea, but it does do really well if you're going to cook it. So that is all I wanted to cover. Please feel free to post questions about zucchini in this post, or send them to me via email. We'd be glad to answer any questions that you have. You can also comment if you're watching this on YouTube. And on the YouTube channel, there should be a place for comments and questions underneath. So I will be also posting a few of these recipes in the comments after this. And thank you so much for watching. And again, I hope to see you either at the 50 ways to use your zucchini workshop, and remember to bring your own BYOZ, bring your own zucchini, or at the farm party. We could meet face to face. I would love to give you a hug and say hi and thank you so much for being our CSA members. You are, again, I can't say it enough, the backbone of what we do, and I would love to meet you guys if I haven't already. So with that said, I will see you all next week.